All right, I've got a review for you now, and this is of the new movie starring Samuel L. Jackson and Maggie Q. It's called The Protege. Martin Campbell is one of my favorite movie directors. He directed the Zorro movies, which I thoroughly enjoyed. He directed two of my favorite Bond movies, GoldenEye and Casino Royale, which is my favorite James Bond movie. He even directed that Jackie Chan film, The Foreigner, which I really enjoyed a few years ago. And he's back with a brand new movie. It's been a little bit of time since we've got a new Martin Campbell picture. It's called The Protege, and it stars Samuel L. Jackson as a hitman with a heart of gold who saves a little girl who goes through something horrific, and she becomes a lethal assassin herself. And she's played by Maggie Q, who does a very, very good job with the action elements in the film. The one thing that I can say about this movie, I didn't especially enjoy it. I think that it kind of falls flat, but the one thing that I will say is that the action is well crafted. There are some horrifying, violent moments in the film, but I think it serves to tell the story. It's not just completely superfluous and unnecessary. These are awful things that happen to these people, and the movie doesn't shy away from it. I'm not a huge fan of the cinematography. I think everything's brightly lit and feels a little TV movie-esque. I think we've seen a lot of sharper contrasting colors and stuff. Even Casino Royale was such a departure from what we have seen of the super glossy Bond films prior to that. And this movie kind of harkens back to an age where the saturation and everything is just a little too glowy. In contrast to that, I would say that Maggie Q is not glowy enough. I think that she does a great job with the action, but she's not an especially inviting character in this film. There's no real variance in the way that she enters a scene or comes out of a scene. Doesn't matter if she's killing somebody or if she's just having a sort of a flirty conversation with Michael Keaton, who was one of the other stars in this movie. I just wasn't brought into her role enough. It's not like she lacks charisma. She looks incredible on screen, but there's just something about the way that her character was put together that it just doesn't bring me in, like a Jason Bourne or Angelina Jolie in Salt or Scarlett Johansson in some of the action pictures that she has done. There's an element there where I just don't feel super connected. I think that some of her flashback sequences where there's a younger performer going through some horrifying stuff, that was incredibly effective. And I think that help to define maybe some of the coldness and the lack of emotion that the character would naturally have if they went through something like that. But it just makes for a disconnect as an audience member. You don't really care. I mean, I don't want to throw dirt on the performer because she's absolutely competent and she gave it her all for this role, but I just didn't care enough about her. And you juxtapose that against what Samuel L. Jackson does is he kind of walks through the picture, but he's so charismatic, you can't help but care about the guy. Even if he's playing echoes of a lot of characters we've seen before, you're just like, yeah, okay, yeah, wherever you're taking me, Samuel L. Jackson, I'm going, let's go. And the same goes for Michael Keaton, who is maybe a little bit too forward and creepy in his role as he's flirting with people and stuff. Man, it's hard to kind of take your eyes off of him and what he's kind of projecting out there. Now, these are two leading men that have had tons and tons of time to develop their craft. And Maggie Q's been in a bunch of stuff, but I've never seen her so front and center in a picture before. And I admire that happened. I think it's cool that she was given this platform and worked with a director with a proven track record like Martin Campbell. But I expected more out of this whole enterprise. And there are some, logic dead ends that happen in the picture as well, where you're just like, did they forget a reel of the movie? Like, how did that happen? I was brought out of it. The action is engaging, and the performances and the stunt work that happened in those action elements, everybody gave it their all, and I respect that. But we have just seen so many better Hitman with a Heart of Gold. I mean, we've got the Hitman's Bodyguard movies that Samuel Jackson's in as well, which are much more silly and comedic than this, but also more entertaining. But there's so many other options, and I think that this film maybe started with a what if the professional we progressed forward in a story like that, and we saw the little girl kind of grow up to become a deadly assassin and very skilled at her craft. The Professional is a way better movie than this. It's disappointing for me because anytime I see Martin Campbell's name on a project, it has my attention. I was excited to see it, but I was left quite disappointed. I'm going to give The Protege a 5 out of 10.